Welcome to the first episode of Give a Fuck with Mori, where we're going to talk about Moriam. The colorism conversation is a serious one. It is a serious one. Oh my god, I'm so cute. I like being a blonde. Blondes do have more fun. It's true. But this is more close and personal. Basically, Give a Fuck with Mori is a concept that I've had in my brain for a while now about cultivating a community of individuals, humans, that want to see better for humanity, want to give a fuck about what's going on in the world, want to talk about it, want to share our experiences, want to change the world in whatever lane and facet that we can, whether that be politics, whether that be healthcare, whether that be, I could go on. So we all have our own lanes. I currently work in healthcare. I've worked in healthcare for 10 years now, in pharmacy, and seeing what goes on in the healthcare sector and what goes on in other sectors around the world lets me know that we are not in a good place. Like, we may be having a good time. It may look cute. I may be pretty. You know what I mean? We may be living paycheck to paycheck. We still paying our rent, but this is not the way that it has to go. The violence, systemically, it doesn't have to be this way. And I think the more that we have conversations about the experiences that we're facing and be more honest and transparent about the things that are going on as women, as kids, as men, Black women, Black children especially, and the things that we are facing, I think that we can move ourselves in a positive direction. I think that when you have shoulders to cry on, shoulders to rely on, that you're more likely to not feel alone. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have any family, even if you don't have friends. I want to create a community where you're not going to be judged for the things that you're going through, and that if you're looking for help, we can find the resources to help you, and that we will work in that direction. And the things that we want to see change, whether that be food insecurity, whether that be job insecurity, again, I could go on. There's so many things that are going on in the world that we don't talk about, that we don't discuss, because you don't want to feel stupid, or you don't want to feel ignorant. You don't want to feel like you're the only one who's going through it, until you share experiences with other people and you realize, like, dang, like, this person's brain kind of works like mine does. And you thought it was normal. You thought that, like, it was just something that you had to do, that you had to deal with, and it's really not. You know what I mean? It's something that we all are dealing with, but if it's something that we're looking to change, the current reality that we're living in is something that we created. So if we imagine a new reality that is more positive and more beneficial for the totality of humanity, I'm very hopeful, and I have a lot of stake riding on the fact that we can do it. We have to. That's the only reason why we're here. Sharing love, sharing experience. What would even be the point? You think that the point of life is to wake up, make $1 for somebody else, meanwhile you can't even pay for your childcare? That is not the point of human life. Okay? And I know that that's what's been portrayed, and that's what we've been socialized to believe. Okay, you do this, you go to school, you get a job, you have kids, you buy a house, and you do that for the rest of your life. That's what we have been taught. But does that have to be that way? No, it doesn't. Does it have to be that every single time you encounter injustice that you have to be quiet about it? That every single time, something bad is happening to you, you have to feel alone? No, you don't. So, Give a Fuck with Mori is a platform that I wanted to create outside of Instagram, outside of TikTok, outside of Twitter, that you don't feel alone. You have someone that is going to listen to you, whether that be advice or just, you want to have other people that you feel are working in the community towards a positive shift. And don't get me wrong, there are multiple programs and nonprofits and things that are working in that direction. I'm not the only one. I want to expand my connections to include the people who are working towards making this world a better place. I just want my own little part of it so that those that are aligning with the things that I feel passionate about and the things that they feel passionate about can come together and realize that we have strength in numbers. Basically, they want you to believe that this is a dog eat dog world and that you're all by yourself, especially in America. That everybody is every man for themselves and only one person can be a billionaire and only one person can be successful and only one person can do this and only one person can do that. Cap. Every single person that I know is powerful as fuck. Every single person I know is smart as fuck. Passionate, caring, considerate, all of these things. It doesn't just have to be one of us. And one person cannot save the world. We have strength in numbers. We can actually change this motherfucker because it's a necessity. It is a necessity. We have to be doing this because left up to the powers that be currently, the whole world would burn. The whole world will burn. And people who do want to make a positive shift and do want to make a change, they are okay with killing us. They are okay. And you have to really rectify with yourself and in your brain and your beliefs. Are you okay with potentially dying behind what you believe in? I am. I'm ready for the revolution. I'm ready for people to say, okay, you know what? It doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to be paying $400 in groceries. I don't have to be paying $40 to get to work in the Peach Pass lane. These are just things that have been on my mind here recently. But these are things that are in my experience, and I'm hoping that by sharing my experiences, more people will be open to sharing their experiences and what they've been dealing with and how they've been managing in this world that isn't conducive to a positive outlook. We are still in the throes of a pandemic, even though people want to act like it doesn't exist anymore. Millions of people died. Has there been any structural changes to the way that we behave and the way that we care about people? No. In fact, we've gotten worse. We lack empathy. We think that everybody is just supposed to be, and people are drowning. Everybody's just supposed to be good. Some people don't have anybody. Some people are in abusive situations, whether that be romantic relationship, whether that be familial, whether that be at their workplace. People are suffering. And to act as if that's not happening is wrong. Okay? It is below freezing, even in the South, and there are people who are living outside. That's not normal. You know what I mean? That's not normal. So these are things that I feel passionate about, that I care about, that I give a fuck about. And I know that other people give a fuck about it too, but it's scary and daunting to say these things out loud in a world where we've become okay and we have become desensitized to this kind of thing. And it's like, dang, as one person, I cannot fix it all. I know that, and I've had many sleepless nights about this fact, and I wish that it wasn't the case. I wish that I did have the power to make everything right. But my right is relative. Because left up to me, this is not the world we be living in, child. This is not the world we be living in. So, yeah. I just wanted to like do a little intro video about a little bit about why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I feel you should give a fuck. You don't have to. You know what I mean? It's much easier to not. It's much easier to forget about the fact that there are things happening outside of our control. It's scary and it's daunting. But if we don't have the imagination to see better than what is right in front of us, we'll never advance and we'll never evolve to those people. And if we keep moving in a negative direction whereby supremacy and injustice and oppression are winning out over positivity, empathy, consideration, we're not going to get to a place of a better world. And that's why most people have given up, because we've been doing this negative thing for so long, so many years now, that it feels like this is the only world that we can conceive. That this just feels like what human nature is, when it's not. It's not. If this was what human nature is supposed to be, so many people wouldn't be depressed. So many people wouldn't be committing suicide. So many people would be happy. But as we can see all around us, we're all pretending. We're all getting up and going to work and trying our best and doing the best that we can. But there will be a time, and a time soon, whereby you don't have it anymore to give. There's no more that we can do. And I want us to get prepared for the time whereby it's not a burnout point, but it's a point of reckoning. It's a point of, okay, I've mentally prepared myself for the fact that we can change the world, and these are the steps that we're going to take to do it. I don't know what all those steps are, which is why I would love to collaborate with people who also want to see a better world, who also want to see something beyond this capitalistic nightmare that we've gotten ourselves into. Where can we go? There's so many places and there's so many things if we can envision it. Because all the things that are before us right now, someone had to think about it and put forth the effort and the intention to make it happen. So I believe in us to put forth those same intentions and that same energy forth something that's positive, something that's going to elevate us as humans, something that's going to really bring us pride and joy. What is prideful and joyful about oppression, about genocide, about racism? Those are things that we should be embarrassed about. Those are things that we should be trying our very best to rectify, not perpetuate. And the fact that that's what's being perpetuated lets us know that this is not fucking normal. Okay, this is not fucking normal. This is not something that is just, oh, hee hee ha 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 ha. We can just keep going like this forever. It's just like that meme of like, sitting in the room and the whole room is on fire. And it's like, this is fine. Yeah, it's fine until you die. And what will be the point of that? We did not come to this life to suffer in that way. And I'm talking globally. I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking globally. People are being oppressed. Violence is being inflicted. And if we don't care today, it will be a problem for us tomorrow. Even if you don't feel violence is at your front door currently, It can be. Them showing that the capacity for violence is this high in one direction means that it is high in the capacity of all of the directions. Like, you think you're bigger than that? If you don't work together, you think you can just ignore it? Ignorance is bliss. Don't get me wrong. I wish sometimes that I could not think about all the terrible things that are going on. I wish I could. But the reality is, this is the world that we've created. And we have a duty to fix it, to do better, to get it better for the children that people have brought into this world, for the creations that people have brought to this world that they want to see remain, the legacies, quote unquote, that people have begun. Like, if we don't put positive intention forth, it'll all be for naught. Will it be the point of continuing to make money and continuing to bring children here and continuing to get our educations and continuing to do all these things if we can't even see betterment for the future? We should all just give up. If this is what we're content with, we should just give it the fuck up. But I'm not content. And I want to align myself with those that are also not content and hope that we can come to an understanding of what steps and what things that we can be doing to make the world a better place. There are people that are protesting. There are people that are doing food banks. There are people that are, like I said, in nonprofit work that are taking their steps to do so. And so in Give a Fuck with Mori, I want to set forth that same kind of action. I want to put forth my energy and my voice and my presence and my money behind making sure that this world is a little bit better than the way that I found it. Period. And I'm hoping within my lifetime I can see a positive shift for the totality of humanity. We shall see. But it doesn't happen by not doing. We have to. We literally have to. Because continuing this way, allowing people who want terrible things for the world to be in positions of power the way that they have been cannot continue if we actually want to get someplace better. It can't. Like, what are we gonna do? Might as well just give the fuck up. Stop having kids. Stop going to work. Just give it the fuck up, because what's the point? If people are just gonna keep being evil and we can't even open our mouths to say this is wrong. Like, I don't understand that. Even if you aren't in the position to put forth the energy that you see others putting forth, at the very least, the acknowledgement that what's going on isn't normal has to be there. It has to be there, because we cannot get together as a collective and move forward if people are still arguing about the fact that there's bad shit happening. If we can't even come to agreement on that. But again, in my community, I don't want anybody who doesn't feel like that. So that's where I am. I am wanting to help people see the light within themselves and be able to push forth that light into their own sector of their community. Because what's the saying? Each one teach one. You know what I mean? It was a long, hard road for me to come to the point where I can say I can see the light, and that I want to continue to be here each day, and I am okay with putting forth my efforts and not giving up. Because I would think to myself, like, dang, like, I'm surrounded by by scary people. The world is scary. The violence that's going on. What's the point of me putting my voice forward if it's not going to change anything? And the truth is, I don't know if it's going to change anything because I hadn't put my voice forward. So at the very least, it's something that's been weighing on my heart. It's been weighing in my head. I feel like it's my purpose to help others, to help myself, and see what we can bring forth. I don't know what the future holds. I hope, though, that it is positive. I hope that it's evolution. I hope that we do ourselves the service of making the world a better place for ourselves, for the children, for the planet. Like, we cannot keep going in this direction. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable on all fronts. And there's so many different facets as to what is making the world unsustainable right now. And so right now, I'm even just talking about the personal steps that one has to come to make sure that, okay, I can wake up each day and I can put forth positivity into my world, into the people that I come across. I can see the humanity in one another because I see the humanity in myself. And I know that I deserve a better world, and I deserve a lot. And so do the people around you, because they're all going through the same kinds of things. You think you're the only one who can't afford your groceries? You think you're the only one who's working hard and not seeing good results? You think you're the only one who went to school and thought that it was going to turn out a certain way and it hasn't turned out that way? Are you the only one who can't afford a home? You're not. You're not. And that is a negative, don't get me wrong, but the silver lining of it is that there are more people like us that can come together as a collective and figure out how we can change, how we can figure something else out, how we can decide to move this forward in a positive direction so that we can change the world. Me, I'm living in a house with my whole family, and you can hear them right now. So I'm going to cut this off. I was going to try to go for about an hour, but I also need to clean my room. I don't even have a place to really shoot this. I've been procrastinating about, again, putting forth my voice and putting forth my image and saying that some things are fucked up and we should give a fuck about turning it the other way around. But I got up. I went to an open house to see about moving out of my family's house, even though I can't even afford it right now, just to feel something. I put some makeup on my face. I got dressed because the world is really shitty. And this makes me feel better. I don't know what makes you feel better. I'm hoping that you can let me know in the comments and let me know, your thoughts about what you feel you would like to see change in this world. What do you think that you can bring forth in your own sphere and what you would like to see change in the world? And so that we can brainstorm about what steps we need to take to see that happen, where we need to be applying our energy. Do you volunteer at a hospital? Do you volunteer at a food bank? Do you put forth your energy in mentoring kids and young adults and even adults? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many directions as to which we can help one another. It doesn't have to look one way. It doesn't have to look one way. And I think that that's where we've gotten astray. That's where we've gone astray. Feeling like life has to look like one thing to be successful. You can only help people if your life is like this. And that you can't open your mouth to say that something's wrong if you're not perfect. I am not a perfect person. I am not somebody who hasn't ever done wrong in life or not made mistakes or done things that I felt I would wish to take back. But the beauty of getting a new day is deciding that you can change. And when you get new information, you can decide that I want to pivot. And I think so many of us are scared of looking silly and looking like we didn't know what we were doing or we didn't know what we were talking about. None of us know what the fuck we're talking about. We have only ever been here this one time. Like, we don't know. And it's all a learning experience. And the more that we share our experiences with one another, the more we can learn and the more that we can grow and the more that we can figure out what it would be to change the world. Like, you think that people were boycotting the buses and doing all these things without conversation about the implications of that and making sure that they were things, you know, there were pickups and there were things like this. Like, it starts from some place. I'm not going to call myself a savior or whatever. I don't have all the answers, but I'm hoping that the answers that I do have to some things combined with the answers that somebody else has and someone else has can come together to blow this motherfucker up. Okay? And start anew. Let's lay some real deal groundwork, foundation, because starting from a rotten foundation based off the oppression of others will never garner a good result. And repeating history gets you the same fucking shit that you had to begin with. And ignoring it and acting as though, you know, oh, it'll get better. You just have to put yourself here and put yourself here, and I'm going to become a police officer and it's going to change. And I thought the same thing about working in healthcare till you realize that being the only person in the room with empathy leaves you burnt out. It leads you being the only person that will speak up, and they will make you the scapegoat. They will make you the black sheep every single time. And that's why I said there's beauty in numbers, because in a room full of 10 people, if you have 5, we can go against the other 5, and you can maybe convince someone on the other side to make it 6. But being one of 10, so I'm wanting to bring myself around a group of people who want to be on my team. People that are already doing great things for the community, people that don't know where to start. Because me, myself, I don't really know where to start. I mean, I volunteer and I do all these things, but like, as far as like really making some shit go, I'm on the team of violence. Because we have been real cute and real kind to people who have not been real cute and kind to us. But I'm trying to get different ideas. I'm trying to see, and I can't exact that violence by myself because I ain't got the funds. I don't have the infrastructure. So also, if you're wanting to fund the Moriam dictatorship, email me, donate. Donate, okay? Because we can make some shake. But that's the thing. No one will know unless I open my mouth and say, or I open my mouth and ask, and I open my mouth and say, this is what I want to see. Do you agree? Can we go somewhere from here? Can we figure something out? Do you align? Can we share? Can we compromise? Can we give a fuck? And so I'm wanting to see that happen this year and every year beyond, because I have belief in myself. I have belief in you. I have belief in humanity. I believe good things about humanity. I don't think that we're so far gone that there's not enough people on this planet that want to see better for us. I don't believe that. I believe that there are a lot of things that make us think that about ourselves, and that's what's put on the forefront. But I do not think that as a collective, we are so far gone that we don't want to see better. If we can actually see how it could be feasible. Because obviously, nobody wants to ignore the homeless or the inequity in pay and things like that. But where do we go from there? Where do we start? How can one person who is not making enough anyways for themselves help everybody else? It's not feasible. And so we have to work together. And so I'm hoping that you'll join Give a Fuck with Mori and give me some suggestions, ask for advice, ask questions so that we can brainstorm together and we can create a community of people who are inquisitive and are imaginative and have empathy for what we want to see happen in this world. So fuck with me and I'm gonna fuck with you. Okay?